A very good afternoon or evening, depending on what time you're watching the video. Thanks for clicking on to the Tuesday edition of Vogan's European Outlook for the 9th of April. And yeah, plenty of things going on at the moment here. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I think there is a few new subscribers in the last couple of days. A very warm welcome if you're new to the channel. Hope you're enjoying the content here. And it's going to be an interesting week coming up. I'm looking at the multi-model Copernicus suite either tomorrow, if not on what day are we on? We're on Tuesday. If not tomorrow, it'll be Thursday, and we're going to look at the multi-model run with regards to the summer forecast. So we're going to look at that. It's going to be a bit of a first summer update, actually. Like I say, either tomorrow or Thursday. So we'll look at that. We're also going to look at the prospects of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season as well here in the channel. I endeavour to do a hurricane forecast this year. Used to do it quite often, but I've not done it in recent years. But I'm hoping to try and do one for the upcoming Atlantic hurricane season. So plenty of reason to stick around here on the channel. And I also forgot to say in yesterday's video, by the way, the global weather report, albeit it wasn't
Discover the
live.
finest quality.
Sorry about that. Even though it wasn't live on Sunday, there is a 33-minute video looking at the dramatic cooling that has taken place recently over the eastern equatorial Pacific. New heat record for the month of April in Africa. An update on the polar ice, whether it be the Antarctic or the Arctic. So there is quite a lot of content on Sunday's video back last weekend. So do check that out. The link is in the description below today's video as well, so you can look at that at your leisure. But just want to cover a couple of those things before we continue with today's video. And also there will be a live stream this upcoming Sunday. Instead of it being 4 o'clock, it'll actually be 5 p.m. because I'm attending the football on Sunday afternoon at 12 o'clock. So the live stream will be on this Sunday, but it will be pushed back to 5 p.m. So just to let you know, and there will be also a link for that live stream probably tomorrow onwards, so you can check that out. But exceptional warmth to start the month of April. We've seen record-breaking warm temperatures to end March over many parts of Europe, and April has got off to an equally exceptional warm start. And parts of southern France, exceptional temperatures. These are temperatures. This is tweets by Thierry Goose, based in Vancouver, Canada. Exceptional high temperatures for early April in France, with up to 31.8 Celsius recorded in southern areas of the country here. These are record breaking levels for early April. Pretty remarkable, actually, when you think 31.8 Celsius. And you say to yourself, is this an omen for what's ahead as we progress into the summer season? I'm not overly 100% sure about that, but I think it's safe to say that we are going to continue to see some remarkable warmth as we go through the next few months. El Nino, unusually warm sea surface temperatures, and a very warm overall backdrop is definitely having a role. We also seen the earliest 30 Celsius in Germany on April 6th, with a temperature of 30.1 Celsius recorded 9 days earlier than the previous record for earliest 30 degrees. So that has been achieved in Germany. Continuing to look forward here to see other aspects that really stand out. It looks as if higher temperatures have been recorded in France in the past, but most of them unreliable or at least dubious. So obviously France, parts of Iberia, temperatures as high as 33.9 Celsius. So that actually surpasses the one back on the 6th of April, or either that or it's a temperature that wasn't discovered at the time. But this is an interesting one, 33.9 Celsius, highest 100% reliable temperature ever recorded in April. And it was on the 6th of April, which is quite interesting because normally April records or springtime records tend to be achieved at the end of the month because you've got the stronger sun, you're closer to the actual summer season, etc., etc. But interesting stuff nonetheless. that we're seeing as high as 33.4 Celsius. And then Thierry goes on to say then that there was temperatures in the past recorded of 34 degrees Celsius in parts of France. And we're not going to go into the climate debate and opinions about the temperatures of the past, because my overall thoughts with regards to that. So I don't think it's really the time or the place to discuss that. Also, an extraordinary minimum temperature for early April, 22.5 Celsius was recorded. A new monthly record. This is even higher than the May record and even the June record, which is pretty remarkable. I think this, obviously, this will be for the actual location, Biarritz. I think that Biarritz is, I think how you pronounce that, a temperature of 22.5 Celsius. So it must be a station record as opposed to a monthly national record, I think, with this. But nonetheless, very, very impressive levels of warmth. And then even parts of Switzerland, central areas of Europe, earliest 30 Celsius on record here was achieved in the Czech Republic. 0.9 Celsius from the April national record. So a 30.9 Celsius was recorded at Roznov, and like I say, it's less than a degree from the national record. Temperature of 30 degrees Celsius was achieved at this location in Slovenia, 0.6 Celsius from the national record. Temperature of 30 degrees even in Austria, and even in Poland, 29.8 Celsius. And we did see a 30 plus in Germany, as discussed already in the channel. So very, very significant warmth, as was expected. I said back on the global weather report that we would see likely monthly records and earliest 30s recorded during the course of last weekend here. More interesting stuff actually from Central Europe. Many monthly records have fallen even through, though it's early in the month, thanks to the record warm Irmas. We've seen temperatures as high as 17.4 Celsius recorded at the 5,000 foot or 850 millibars above this particular location, Pirin in Switzerland. A temperature of 11.2 Celsius was recorded at this observatory at an elevation of 2,515 meters, new monthly record, and the records go back to 1951, the previous record being 10.1 Celsius. Let me see if there's anything else to speak about before we get into today's content with regards to the possibility of something a little bit fresher moving in from a northwesterly direction. And also the question mark is the dry theme still on the cards with regards to the models? That'll be something that we're going to look at as we continue with today's video here. Don't think there's much else to speak about. Temperature in Bosnia of 32.9 degrees Celsius, only 0.1 Celsius from the April Bosnian record. So yeah, very, 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 very warm early portions of April for Central Europe. The UK, I think the highest temperature is just over 20 Celsius, so nothing really to write home about. Even by April standards, we've seen warmer temperatures in the past. So yeah, let's get right into it. Let's have a look at, first and foremost, at the CFSV2 rainfall anomalies upcoming 7 days. You can see here, really from North Wales, Northern England, northwards, wetter than average conditions, slightly drier than average across far southern England, as you can see, drier than average across France, Spain, Portugal, southern Europe. We've got wetter than average. It's quite a tale of two halves, really. Northern Europe, wetter than average, drier than average further south. Into week 2, here's the turnaround. 16th through the 23rd of April, drier than average conditions across the majority of the UK and Ireland here, continuing to see the dry thing. Notice here it's kind of flipped a wee bit here. Dry west versus wet east, week 2. Then into week 3 here, according to the CFSV2, we maintain this kind of drier theme, especially across more northern UK as opposed to the south. Average across the south, drier across the north, and then even into the final week, into the early portions of May, You've got that average across the south, drier across the north here. So certainly the CFS model indicates that we still continue with this drier theme. I'm not saying that it's going to be a dry pattern overall, completely. We are going to see still spells of rain, obviously, but this is quite a substantial flip around compared to what we've seen through the first week to 10 days of the month, where it has been very wet. Remember what I said in the April forecast: warmer and wetter than average for the UK here. Let's have a look and see what the 500 millibars looking like for the CFSV2. See here, very strong area of high pressure across southern and central Europe, negative heights further north, as you can see. As we go into week two, notice here that we've got a trough over Scandinavia, over Central Europe, but actually the ridge now starts to shift more towards the UK, Ireland, and over the North Atlantic. That would then suggest more of a northwesterly component to the flow. So therefore, we're going to peg back that mild theme. As we progress through mid and late this week, the temperatures are going to be on the rise because of a strengthening southwesterly airflow here. Still got plenty of systems moving in, more rain to speak about, more flooding issues to speak about as well. This is going to continue to be a wet theme through the majority of this week, but then we may start to see something drier moving forward. This is interesting here, the period between the 23rd and the 30th of April. Notice here that we've got quite a lot of northerly blocking now starting to show up. We're now forcing the negative down towards the southwest. Now that would suggest that we increase the chance of seeing wetter conditions across southwestern Europe, and also the possibility of something, if you had a little bit of warmth to speak about, something a little bit more in the way of a thundery flavour of weather as energy and cooler air suspended to the south of the UK lifts north into something potentially milder and more settled. You could have cool nights, warm days, for example, with this type of upper air regime. Still a wee bit away, so there is variables within that as well. And then the final week, April 30th through the 7th of May, you can see here that we've got the blocking to the north. We've got this weak negative to the south here. That could be a warm but possibly thundery theme, especially energy trying to lift north into the block here. Finally, let's have a look at the 7 day temperature anomalies here. Upcoming 7 days, warmer than average across the board, very warm compared to average across pretty much all of Europe, actually. Week two, you can see here there's a bit of quite a big flip around actually to something closer to average across the UK and Ireland here. Look at this here. Look at the difference between week one and week two over Central Europe here. That is quite a dramatic flip around, by the way, especially if you've got the high that was focused over Central Europe, then gets shoved westwards over the Atlantic, and you start to drive something cooler across eastern, further east. That would certainly be a very interesting one to watch, and we'll keep an eye on that actually in the coming days to see if that materializes. Then into week three, you can see here 23rd through the 30th of April, close to average, slightly warmer than average across far south and along the west coast of Scotland also. So quite interesting overall. Let's have a look at the 850 temperatures. Let's start off with ECMWF for the current situation. So we've got, as I said, a turn to milder conditions, a little bit of a break in between weather systems. We had very wet conditions later yesterday into the early portions of today. Higher pressure settles in for a very brief spell during the course of tonight into tomorrow. We may even see some patchy frost, clear skies, light winds, something we haven't really seen really much this month at all. I've not recorded a single night below freezing this April so far, which is quite significant actually. You tend to find some chilly, frosty nights in through the month of April, but that has not been the case. Too much cloud cover, wind and rain has been the dominant player. So as that little lobe of chilly air trapped underneath a brief ridge of high pressure sits overhead later today into tomorrow morning, that then gets replaced by the next weather system and slightly milder conditions. But you notice here, it's not overly mild. Yes, we're flirting with the 10 Celsius at 850 across the far south of the UK, but we're not getting in to any of those kind of yellows or even light red colours. they're staying to the south. We may see some fairly warm air actually across parts of Spain, France, Portugal, up into Central Europe once again. Uh, this looks as if it could be a fairly warm air mass for these areas. But notice here, as areas of low pressure then move through and then move east, we then open the door, cold front moves south, and we're into the chillier flavour of weather once again. As that high, like I showed you in the longer term, slips off to the west of the UK and Ireland over the Atlantic, and then it allows that northwesterly flavour of air to move south over the UK, and the ECMWF actually maintains that chilly theme as we move towards the middle, and even this, between the 10th, 12th on to about the 18th of April. It looks as if there's a bit of a chilly theme going on with high pressure to the west and a northwesterly airflow. Let's look at the GFS for the same time frame. You can see here there's that chilly air with high pressure for the next 12 hours or so. Then it's replaced by something a lot milder, more Atlantic weather moving in. The focus of the rain generally shifts to the northwest of England and northwestern Scotland. Further south across the Midlands and South Wales, southern England, we've got drier weather moving into the London area, the southeast, East Anglia. That's going to be the driest portion of the UK over the next 3 or 4 days. Uh, Flirt with something milder across the far south, and like I said, with the ECMWF, high pressure then starts to move towards the west of the UK, and it opens the door to something colder. How cold? Well, it'll probably be a chilly, nagging theme. Also, we may have that battle between milder to the south, colder to the north. Both of them kind of fighting to gain ground over the UK as we move towards the 15th through the 20th of April here. So, really all to play for, but plenty of things going on at the moment here. Like, share, and subscribe. Plenty of content coming up in the next few days, looking at the multi-model run with the June through August period, the Atlantic hurricane season, live stream this upcoming Sunday, so stick around if you can. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.